Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor, KC9VKV in the Friday afternoon. My group Aircheck QSO-VLOG. If you have a radio, you want to check the audio, give us a shout. We are recording, and we'll post it up on YouTube, and you can drop by and take a look and listen. KC9VKV.
November 4, Papa Juliet Lima.
November 4, station, come back with your call sign again.
November 4, Papa Juliet Lima.
Roger, Roger. Our name here is Jim, Juliet India Mike, and we're doing our QSO-VLOG program for Friday afternoon, and we are recording. And if you have, well, you're here. Greetings.
Hi, Jim. Name here is Pete, Papa Echo Tango Echo. Got I checked in with you once before with my old rig. Now I've got a new rig. I recently got an ICOM 7610, and anxious to get it set up with any additional info you might pass along as to how it sounds. Over.
Oh, well, the 7610 is the one after the 7300. Is that a Roger?
Roger, Roger. Yeah, I had a 7300, which I absolutely loved, and actually set it up with you a while back. And now I've got the 7610, so I thought I'd check in with you and see how this one's doing. Over.
Roger, Roger. Well, you know, those two radios come pretty well ready to go out of the box. I mean, those guys did their homework on those two radios, and so when you open it up and plug it in, you're doing real well. They've got things pretty much set for those hand mics. Now, if you change mics, we might have a different story. Roger.
I see ICOM microphone on here. It's well, I forget the model number. It's the one that's made specifically for the ICOM unit. I'll get the model number for you here in a minute, but it's a boom-mounted mic, and that's really why I thought I'd set this one up with you.
Roger, Roger. Well, the first thing to do would be to check your ALC reading. I guess you have lights for your ALC on that radio?
Well, I actually have an ALC meter I'm looking at right now, and I'm pulling about half scale on it right now, and I don't have the compressor turned on at all.
Roger, Roger. Well, you're doing real well. It's not, I mean, usually the best operation for that radio is usually about a 3 dB dynamic range, and you're close there. I would check out maybe a 3 out of 10 on the compressor and see what it sounds like if you've got the opportunity. I'd love to hear it. A 3 out of 10 on the compressor and see where your dynamic range goes.
Okay, I have the compressor. Let's see, I have it on the mid range as far as the audio frequency is concerned. It's on mid instead of wide or narrow. It's on the mid range, and I've got it set at level 3 right now. Over.
All right, and let's talk for a little bit. What's the best thing about that radio you found so far?
Oh boy, it's hard to tell where to start. Well, of course, I loved the 7300, which I had for about a year right after it came out, and really enjoyed that. But when the 7610 came along, and they had a really good deal on it during the fall season here, I decided I'd go ahead and bite the bullet and put this one in and trade the other one in, which was a good deal at the time. So I love all the features. I think the SDR configuration is a winner for me. I had an Elecraft KX3 for a while and really enjoyed that. So I've been using software-defined radios for a little bit and really find this one to be very much along the lines of everything I need. Wish it had a little more power, but I can always add some power later on. Over.
Roger that. Now, I'm just curious if you found a little item on that radio, on the 7610, you have a little item called Drive. Have you found Drive?
I have found it, but I don't think I've played with it at all.
Well, drive. Oh my goodness, I don't know how to put this, but drive can make a bunch of difference. If you go to drive and bring it up about halfway, I would love to see that, Roger.
Okay, I have drive gain set right now at 50%, over.
Oh, you have drive in now?
Well, it says drive gain is set at 50%. Let's see if I can figure out how to turn it on.
This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor in the QSO-VLOG program for this afternoon, and incidentally the session is called My Group Aircheck. My Group Aircheck, dated 11/23/18. My Group Aircheck, dated 11/23/18. If you go to YouTube, that's the session you'll be looking for.
Turned on, and it's set at 50% right now.
All right, run it up there to about 75%.
Okay, I now have it at 75%, over.
Okay, what that is doing is really just closing your dynamic range down. I mean, the less dynamic range, the more full-bodied the modulation is. You start with unprocessed audio, which is like, the meter, VU meter is just flopping around with every word you say will be flopping around, So as you bring up that drive, you're fattening the audio, and till you get to the point, I've seen one a demonstration of that where it was a 1 dB dynamic range, and that is, as the guy was speaking, my VU meter tied to the output of my radio was going up to 0 level, which is set right at the beginning of the red scale, and then to a -1, which is the next increment down, and it just sat there and rocked between 0 and 1, 0 and -1, which is just that's like AM broadcasting a piece of music,
I still have the compressor turned on in the mid-scale range, as far as frequency response goes. There are 3 different settings for the compressor on here. One is wide, one is mid, and the other is narrow. And of course, it just changes the overall frequency response. So right now I have it in the mid-range, over.
All right, okay, then open it up to, what's the options?
Well, let's see, I don't have the numbers in front of me here, but let me open it up to the wide range for a second. Hang on.
This is KC9VKV and the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG program. Got a little QRM up or down on either one side or the other. I'm not sure what that is, but we're going to be here for a while, so, there you have options. This is KC9VKV. Go ahead, Pete.
Now, this is N4PJL, and you are, by the way, you're plus 20 dB here at my end today. Okay, now I have it on the compressor is turned on, but it's in the wide frequency response mode, over.
Okay, now bring it to narrow. I want to hear a difference, Roger.
Okay, now I'm in the narrow mode, and it should be very noticeable.
Yes, it is. Go back to wide.
Okay, here's wide. Just for comparison, I'll give you it's on wide right now. All right, now we are on, wait a minute.
This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor and the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG program. If you have a radio that you want to check out the audio, give us a shout. We are recording, and then we within the next couple of days post it up on YouTube. And you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, and that'll take you to our QSO-VLOG page. And on that page, you'll find a session that's titled My Group Aircheck 11/23/18. which is today's date, coincidentally. You will say, my group, Aircheck 112318. That is us today, right now. Go ahead, Pete.
Okay, this is N4PJL. Okay, I can step through it easily. I'm on the compressor's on the wide mode right now. All right, I threw it now to the mid-range, and now I'm going narrow, and I'll take it back to wide. Okay, now we're back at wide.
Did you happen to pull off mic at the last of that transmission?
I don't think so. I don't believe I did.
All right, it was conditions. Well, anyway, so it's all, your mid, wide and narrow. It's the same game on all that stuff, My point is that when you start narrowing it down to a mid-range signal, I don't care whether it's in compression or whatever, you're restricting the top end. And the top end is vital for articulation. Even in a DX or a contest situation, the top end is just vital for articulation, to be able to understand what's being said. So, people think, well, I'll just get narrowband and I'll cut on through. Well, yeah, you do, but you'll cut better if you leave the top end where it is and just roll some of the bottom. Do not sacrifice your top end equalization, because you will be placing yourself in a situation that is disadvantageous and marginal situation trying to understand your signal. Roger?
Roger. Well, by the way, the microphone is a Heil ICM. It's the model ICM, and it's specifically made for ICOM, and it's a very hot mic in order to use it with some of the older ICOM rigs, which had apparently low audio on the input side. So I've got the audio rather cut back rather dramatically on this rig because, of course, it doesn't have that problem. But if it sounds good on your end, it looks good here on the ALC, and I'll just leave it in the with the compressor turned on in the wide mode as I have it right now.
Roger, Pete. Yeah, that's what you want, the wide mode, and that microphone sounds beautiful, and you have reduced your dynamic range to about 3.5 dB. If you get in a situation where you were DXing or contesting or whatever, and you wanted more punch, I would just bring up the compressor to about a 7. Can we hear about a 7 on that compressor?
Okay, this is N4PJL. I just brought the compressor up to level 7. How's that sound, over?
It just gets fatter. It just gets fatter, and there is no downside to it. There is no distortion. There is not even the obvious signals of compression. The signal just gets fatter, Roger.
Okay, very good. Well, and also I've left my drive up at 75, and I guess your recommendation is just to leave it there. Is over?
Well, I would, unless somebody says, "Hey, you're too loud," and I would say, "Jealous? You're about a 3 dB dynamic range now, so you got it going on. Obviously, you could back off, but why? I mean, it sounds natural, sounds good. What is your power output on that radio?
All right, I'm running 100 watts right now, just barefoot, and I'm using an end-fed half-wave antenna up about 30 feet in the air.
Roger. Well, you're doing about a 10 dB over my noise range, or my noise level. It comes and goes, but 10 dB was your last transmission, and your dynamic range is about 3 dB. So I would say that's a nice signal, and the EQ is nice. What would be the capabilities of what's your top end EQ now?
9.
Stand by, sir. Frequencies in use.
By the way, I just switched over to my vertical antenna. Is that any better, any worse? Just wondering how that compares, over.
Your signal's down at the moment. I can't really give you an opinion. Need a little more signal. Mother Nature, come on.
Okay, well, it may have been because I switched to the vertical, which I don't think works quite so well on this frequency. Let me take a look at my equalizer. Hang on just a sec. N4PJL.
Roger, Roger, Pete. And there was another station in there. Other station, this is KC9VKV. Go ahead. If there was another station with comment, go ahead. Nothing heard. This is KC9VKV in the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG program where we do constant recording from 3:30 till 5. And if you have a radio that you want to check out and listen to, we are recording and we will post it up on YouTube in the next couple of days. And so you can go there and find our QSO-VLOG. You do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, and then that will take you to our QSO-VLOG page. We have about 320 some odd QSOs at this point. But there's one will be entitled My Group Aircheck 11/23/18, and that's today, and that's right now. So go ahead, Pete.
N4PJL. Okay, my wideband audio is at 100 to 2900. My mid-range is 300 to 2700, and the narrowband is 500 to 2500. And right now I've got my mic set with -1 on the bass and +1 on treble. Over.
Okay, you're in the wideband, and run those EQ levels past me again.
Okay, the wideband, I think that's the mode I'm in right now. I don't have that screen up, but the wideband mode is set at 100 to 2900 kilohertz. 100 hertz to 2900 hertz, rather. Mid-range is 300 to 2700, and narrowband is 500 to 2500. And right now I have my mic set at -1 on bass and +1 on treble. Over.
Roger, Roger. Well, I wouldn't know any other band but wide. I mean, I can't imagine wanting to do anything else but wide band. I mean, you know. And so that being said, there you go. In wideband, just out of curiosity, if you went to a +5 on the top end, left everything mid-range flat, bottom end wherever it is, and just moves the top end up to, I guess you got a 1 out of 10. So if you got a 1 out of 10, if you moved it to 5, I'd just be curious in hearing it.
Okay, you want me to take on the wideband mode, take my top end up, are you talking about on the microphone or on the bandwidth, on the transmission bandwidth?
Well, bandwidth, transmission bandwidth will be in the wide mode, and we're talking about mic EQ, +5, top end EQ.
Okay, I have my top end on +5 right now. That's as far as it goes. Over.
Roger, it's just a 1 to 5?
Well, it's -5 to +5, and I'm on +5.
Roger, well, come back to about plus, where was it before?
It was at +1 originally.
Roger, take it to +2.
Okay, it's at +2 right now, and there's -1 on the bass. Over.
Yeah, I like the 5 myself, but you know, the top end will give you articulation and intelligibility. You know, the difference is, let me demonstrate what happens when you lose the top end. I'm losing the top end now because I got 3 fingers in front of the microphone, so my syllabic range is greatly reduced as opposed to being up in the mic. Roger, Roger.
Roger, and I do have the pop filter on the top of the microphone here, so that may reduce my top end just a slight bit. But I've got it set at +5 right now, which is the top end.
Roger, Roger. Well, you're there, buddy. And that windscreen, is that a foam windscreen?
Roger, it's the Kyle windscreen that comes with the mic.
Roger. I doubt that's attenuating anything. not much, if anything, barely. So I would obviously the good outweighs the bad with that. So I would keep that on, and with that, it allows you to work tighter mic if you want to like to improve your basic signal to noise ratio, voice to sounds, chickens, ducks, wives, children. The tighter you work mic, the less noise that you're going to get, blowers, stuff like that. And when you start, compressing and getting a fatter audio signal, you have to be concerned with background noises, which are then pulled up also, So I work right on top of, if you've seen my video, I'm right on top of the mic, and my windscreen is just a beautiful device that allows me to do that, and I don't have I don't have any problem anyway with the any kind of background noise or whatever. It's just a force of habit. But I think the thing that it allows you to do is come up with a very consistent modulation. You're not in and out, plus or minus, like off mic, in mic, halfway there or whatever. You are constantly at the point that you want to be, Roger.
Roger, N4PJL. Just let me turn the compressor off for a second here, even though I'm in the wide mode. Okay, I got the compressor turned off now, and does it still sound pretty good?
It does, but I can tell a difference in the body of your signal. It got a lot thinner. A good demonstration would be if you counted to 10, and at 5, if you could just put the compressor in, like you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then at 6 you put the compressor in, and just to see in a environment like that, the A/B difference between with and without.
Okay, I'll do a count. The compressor's turned off right now, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Compressor on, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Over.
Roger. Yeah, it makes a difference, and you can, when you listen back on YouTube, you'll be able to hear that difference, Roger.
Roger. Well, I really appreciate your help, and it sounds like you got me set pretty much where I need to be at the moment. Over.
Roger. I that drive is just an amazing thing. What are you doing power-wise right now?
Power-wise, 100 watts. Over.
All right. Well, when you get an amplifier, when and if, that drive will be your buddy, because you can just use that drive to do exactly what you want with the box, Roger.
Roger. Well, it said you took me up from 50% to 75%, and that's where I've got it right now.
Roger. I think it's a great signal. It's punchy, Now, if you're going to run across a purist that says, "Hey, gosh, I'm flat." I'm flat, and I'm non-processed, and that's true. And you've got, this person has got 1,200 watts or 1,500 watts, but even that person can get into marginal situations, and in marginal situations, you want everything going for you that you can, Roger.
Roger. Okay, well, I'll leave it set at 75 for now, and I thank you very much for all your help today. It's been great. Over.
Roger. Thank you, sir. I appreciate your dropping by, and like I say, if you will be posting this in the next couple of days up on YouTube.
Roger. KC9VKV from N4PJL 73. Have a great weekend.
Roger, and I want your radio. I wanted the 7300, but I'll take that radio also. Anyway, a great choice. You're going to love it. This is KC9VKV and the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG program. If you have a radio you want to check out the modulation, hear it, if you give me a call, we are rolling and record and talk for a little bit, and then you'll be able to go to YouTube in the next couple of days and do a call letter search of Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, and that'll take you to our QSO-VLOG page, and on that page there will be one session called My Group Aircheck. dated 11/23/18. This is KC9VKV. How about a Charlie up there towards the Canadian border? Haven't heard from Charlie today. He's usually got some nice stories for us. K1GZL, Charlie up around the Canadian border. Are you there, sir? Charlie may be working on his antenna. He's had some snow problems, and he has, for all practical purposes, it's like a. I've seen his operation on some pictures on QRZ, and it's like a 3-element beam for 40 meters. It is like a 3-element beam for 40 meters, and he's had some icing on some of those elements, and it is in kind of a disarray at the moment, but I know Charlie's going to get the bucket truck in there and get everything back up and tuned up, and we shall see. This is KC9VKV and the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG program. If you have a radio, you want to check out the audio, give us a shout, and we'll record it and post it up on YouTube. KC9VKV. There's a 7 in there somewhere. Station 7 something. Come back.
Alpha Bravo 7, Hotel Zulu.
Roger, roger, sir. This is Jim, Juliet, India. Mike, who we got there?
George, Golf, Echo, Oscar, Romeo, Golf, Echo.
Roger, George. And, gosh, just looking at your audio, just out of curiosity, come right up on that mic and let me hear you right up on the mic.
Is that any better?
Come again.
1, 2, 3. Is that any better?
Yes, sir, it is, and the story would be revealed in your ALC. If I'm assuming that your radio does have an ALC, Roger.
Yeah, this is the ICOM IC7300.
Ah, yes, yes, and which mic are you running?
I'm using the micro.
I see, and if you come right up on it, and let me hear you right up on it.
All right up next to it. Yes, the ALC is moving up.
Right, and when you're right up on it, where's your ALC reading?
It's moving up about almost to 30.
Okay, let's see. Would you classify that as, I don't know what the interpretation of that is, but would it be a mid-scale of the ALC reading?
Yeah, let me set that just a minute. Hold on 1 second.
He needs a lot more audio.
Yeah, we'll work it in.
It's moving up a little bit.
All right, bring your mic gain up to where your ALC is mid-scale.
Okay, testing. Is that any better?
Yeah, that is better. What's your meter reading?
It's running about right at 9.
Okay, is that, we'll just classify that meter as it's got a mid-position. Your ALC reading has got a mid-position. What we want to do is bring your audio up to where it's riding just in the mid-position of the ALC meter.
And that would be using the mic gain, correct?
Roger, roger.
Yes, this is testing and it's moving right up nicely.
Okay, are you about mid-scale now?
Yes, right at mid-scale.
All right, and how far would you have to turn it up to go at the max ALC reading?
Right now, my gain is at 70%.
Roger, Roger. And I'll tell you what I'd do. I'd go to about a 3 on the compressor. Do you know how to get your compressor in line?
Yes, and it is at a 3 as we speak. Over.
Okay, and how far are you from the mic?
Probably about 2 inches.
Roger, and you've got a windscreen on the mic?
No, I'm just using it straight out.
Okay, I wouldn't get any closer than without a windscreen. And you are mid-scale on your ALC, Roger?
Yes.
All right, let's talk about something, your antenna system. Tell me about your antenna system.
It's an inverted V, and it's only up about 20 feet.
Roger, Roger. What kind of SWR you got on it?
1.06.
Ooh, that's nice. Did you have to work hard for that?
Diligently.
Okay, what I'm looking for is a little bit more response than one word. We need to kind of put a sentence together, you know, and I'll be able to tell. But it's hard to use, you know, with one word. You just have one, the meter comes up and down. We need a few more. Stand by just a moment. I have a landline. I'll be right back.
And I've got it off the ground about 6 feet on each end and about 45 feet from the center to each one of the wings. Over.
You got a landline.
Oh, yes. I have my favorite brother from Microsoft calling about my computer with the Indian accent. I wonder how many Indian employees Microsoft has and how many thousands of others that are just rip-offs.
Was that any better at all?
Yes, sir. I think we're on the right trail, Roger.
Well, good. I'm looking forward to viewing this on YouTube. I've been listening for a while, and I certainly appreciate the service that you guys render for this.
Roger, Roger. Well, you know, like I was saying, the hard part is that in order to judge the ballistics of your modulation and the dynamic range, you know, usually it takes a sentence or 2 or 3 or 4, you know, about maybe 10 seconds long, and if we have that, then we can, you know, deal with it because we can see what's going on. I'm looking at your audio on a VU meter tied to the output of my receiver, so I can tell exactly what your average peak modulation is and the extent of the dB range dynamically. And I think you're doing real well, but I would like to hear you expound upon something for about 20 seconds.
Okay, I was talking earlier about my antenna, and it is an inverted V on 40 meters, and I just checked the SWR, and it's 1.06. It's about 18 feet off the ground, and it's 6 feet off each end, and I've got 90 feet between the wings. So,
Roger, and you also have a beautiful radio that's doing just fine, you know. Now, if you were from New York, your speech rate would be faster. You know, I'm just saying you know, it seems like from the north to the south, the speaking rate slows, you know, and then, you know, obviously when you're talking about words, then it's no longer, you can't really see the dynamic range because the words are separated too far apart. But that dissertation that you gave me just there was beautiful, and that radio is doing about a 3 dB dynamic range. That is a beautiful radio, sir, and you're doing great.
Well, I appreciate that. I've been out of the hobby for almost 25 years, so getting back in is similar to drinking water from a fire hose.
Oh, I like Muscatel myself.
As everyone says, I'm still learning. So thanks very much, and I'm looking forward to seeing or listening to this and seeing it on YouTube.
All right, George. My pleasure, sir. And you've got the information about getting to the YouTube page.
I do. Thank you very much. AB7 HZ Over.
Roger, sir. 3Z away, and you got a great radio there. I wish I had it. Threes. This is KC9VKV and the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG program. If you have a radio that you want to try to hear and see what it's doing, and we are recording, and we will be posting it up on YouTube, and you'll be able to go there and call it a search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, and that'll take you there, and then you'll find one of the sessions called My Group Aircheck 112318. My Group Aircheck 112318, and that's this one, and so then you'll be able to hear yourself and be able to judge what your radio is doing for yourself. It's KC9VKV.
KC9VKV from Kilo 2 Kilo X-ray Kilo K2KXK. What say, Jim?
I know that K circus. Come back with them K's again.
K2KXK, Kilo 2 Kilo X-ray Kilo. Since we've spoken.
Oh, I remember them K's. That's a great call sign. And your audio is beautiful. What's going on?
Flex doesn't give 20 overs to very many people.
I'm sorry, we doubled there. I was just complimenting you on your beautiful radio and your modulation, Roger.
Well, thanks. Thank you very much. Well, you taught me a lot, that's for sure. But I'm not sure if we've spoken since I got the Flex. It used to be running a 7300. But well, I'm sure we've made one or two contacts since then. But Flex is, as you know, prides itself on having good modulation, and so far so good. I'm using the same $20 Behringer mic that I was using on the 7300, and still seems to work out well. Is that it?
Roger. Now, I do see it just not as fat as probably you might want it to be. It has to do with how well on the peaks, the repetitive peak position. In other words, in a good situation with usually like 3 dB dynamic range or so, the peak position is the same consistently, outside of Mother Nature doing strange things, but it just kind of hits that 100% mark and just, residually comes back and hits that same mark as your words are spoken. And right now I was seeing like maybe, different places there, plus and minus. Maybe, it could be that you're not into your ALC quite as far as you need to be. I'm not sure.
Actually, I had compression on when I usually run, which sympathetically to what you
I don't know if you got a copy on me, but you have faded out. You were totally fade out there, maybe half a dB above my noise level. Just gone. I guess that was about a 30 dB Mother Nature hit. This is KC9VKV, K2KXK. You still there? Yeah, I'm not sure if I hear you back in there or not, but there's nothing to write home about. There's nothing to actually copy. I can't actually tell the words. just Mother Nature is doing a number right now, about a 30 dB fade in your direction, I'm guessing. This is KC9VKV. Gosh, I couldn't copy. There was two stations in there at once. The loud one, come back.
Kilo 0, Alpha Kilo on the Swan. Over.
Alpha Kilo on the Swan. Give me that call again.
Alpha Kilo 0, Alpha Kilo.
Roger, Roger. You can't get lost on that call sign, and you're running a Swan?
Yep, I thought I'd get the tubes warmed up on the old Swan. It's a Swan 350. And just wanted to see how it sounded today. Over.
Well, now the second question is, are you running a D104?
Okay, say that again.
Are you running a D104 microphone?
I'm running the handheld Swan microphone to come with the radio.
All right. The only reason I ask is because it's got no bottom end. Or you might check your EQ and see, what you're running there as far as equalization. It just is kind of mids and top end with no bottom. Roger.
Okay. Yep. Well, it is what it is on the old rig. So we'll just call it that.
Oh, Roger, you don't have EQ on the Swan?
No, I do not.
I see. Well, let's see. How close are you working that mic?
About 4 inches.
All right. What if you came closer to it but worked past it? Not into it, but past it.
Okay, we'll try it that way, and that's a little bit closer and working past it.
Roger. Yeah, it needs, I'll tell you what it needs. It needs about 3 or 4 dB boost at about 150 cycles. Roger.
Okay. Well, like I said, it is what it is. It's an old rig, and it's a lot of fun. Stand by here. I'll flip this one off, and I'll flip on the FTDX 3000. It'll take me about 5 seconds.
Roger that, sir. This should be interesting. This is KC9VKV in the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG program. If you have radio, you want to check out the audio, give us a shout. We are recording, and we'll post it up on YouTube within the next couple of days. And you can go there, and in the sanctity of your home, you don't even have to talk. You just find your audio, and it's on my group Aircheck 112318. It will be the session that you're looking for. The number, the session ID will be title will be called My Group Aircheck 112318.
AK0AK back with you here on the 3000.
Oh yeah. I like it.
A little bit of a change, isn't it?
Oh, Roger. Yes, it's got a nice bottom end. It's got a nice top end. You could actually take a couple of clicks at 150 cycles on that one. I'd just be curious as to what it would do as far as how mellow it might be, Roger. But
Yep. Okay. All right. Well, hey, I know you've got a lot of other guys out there waiting, and they're wanting to see what their rigs sound like. So I'm going to let you carry on with them, and wish you a happy Thanksgiving and have a great weekend. KC9VKV, AK0AK, 73, sir.
Roger. What's the name there?
The name is Todd, Tango Oscar Delta Delta.
Roger, Todd. Nice radio. I am trying to expand the parameters of I guess, radio to my motto is be all that you can be, and trying to not necessarily get all the punch, but come to an EQ that is suitable nicely for QSO and DX, and I think that can be found. I mean, usually in mic EQ, if if you leave the mid-range where it is, and you come up, say, +2, 3 on the top end for a little articulation boost, and then it gets down to the bottom end as to exactly what you want to do. And typically, QSO EQ is a little more mellow, or a little more bottom end than normal. Not to the point of muddiness, but to the point of pleasantness. And then by the other token, that same bottom end EQ, if you roll back, say 3 dB, suddenly you have an attack dog as far as a microphone. You're getting rid of that bottom end, and you have now the articulation of the top end and the punch of the mid-range, and so I'm trying to find that balance. KC9VKV.
Yeah, I understand that. It sure makes a QSO much more enjoyable when you can have nice audio coming in rather than the old Swan 350. Something that sounds a little nice. So, like I said, I'll turn it over to the other guys here with you, and you can work with them and see what you can do for them. So, thank you for the input. I'll take a look at the EQ on this and see what I can do with it. KC9VKV, 8K0AK, 73.
Roger, Todd, and hopefully you're aware of how to get to our QSO-VLOG page on YouTube. Go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, and that'll take you to the QSO-VLOG page. And once there, you look for a title of a session called My Group Aircheck 11/23/18. Today's date 11/23/18. This is KC9VKV.
KC9VKV, this is KN4 RAF, do you copy?
RAF, come back with the call sign.
Roger, KN4 RAF, Kilo November 4, Romeo Alpha Foxtrot, Ralph on this end.
Roger, now I expected a British accent with RAF.
Yeah, since my name was Ralph, I thought that might be a little easier to acknowledge, Roger.
Hey, roger that. What's going on, Ralph?
Not much. Listen, I just got an amplifier a couple of days ago, and I've now tried it on the 40-meter band, and I heard you in there, and I just wanted to see if you'd be able to pick me up. Over.
Well, if you're barefoot now and you got an amp that's working, I think I could probably pick you up even better.
Well, Roger, I'm using the amp now, and I'm doing about 600 watts as PEP, I believe. And again, this is all kind of new to me, so I think that's what I'm getting out, Roger.
Roger, well, it's sounding good. Whereabouts are you, sir?
I am 7 miles north of Montgomery, Alabama.
I would say it's working pretty good there. Now, I have a question for you. Some amplifiers and radios accommodate a feedback from the power amp back to the radio. I'm assuming that you're not running that loop back?
Probably not. What I am doing, I'm going from the radio into a ARB 704. I'm not sure really what it's to kind of eliminate some feedback between the receiver and the amplifier for safety purposes. But other than that, I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Roger. Well, it's a tap off the power amp that comes back to the radio and gets into the ALC. I don't know. It's a hocus pocus, but usually it tends to be more of a problem than not. So I don't suggest using that. It just is it's not necessary. Your basic radio ALC will solve most of the problems there, Roger.
Roger, yeah. I'll have to look into that a little bit more and see if it's necessary. I'm using the hand mic that came with the Yaesu FTDX 1200, which is the radio that I'm on now, and it just seems to be easier, but does the modulation sound good?
Oh, it does, yes. I think you're doing well. You need to check out your ALC to be sure you're running mid-scale. If you're running mid-scale on your ALC, that's perfect, Roger.
Roger, and it looks like I'm probably a little high. Let me cut back a little bit and see if I get about mid-scale. Does that make a difference? That actually turned it down from, quite a bit, about half as much again, and the ALC does seem to be about mid-scale to 3/4, over.
Roger. Well, that's fine there. I could tell, you backed off some. I liked it personally the other way, but I understand, if you run mid-scale to 3/4, it's going to, be, that is the beginning of the fattening process, that ALC. It's like a limiter, but you can't push it, Limiter, the difference between a limiter and compressor is that the limiter does its work at the top of the word. As if you look at it ballistically, it's working at the top of the audio, and a compressor is working at the bottom of the audio. So a compressor is limiting those peaks, and a limiter is limiting those peaks, and a compressor is pulling up stuff, and I like mine to work off the top, where if you just run about 2 dB or 3 dB of limiting, that is such a fat signal there. And that's what you're looking for, is to be able to bring up the average peak modulation. Unprocessed audio is usually running about 30% average peak modulation, and as you process it, you fatten it up, and you will wind up, if you wind up with a 3 dB dynamic range, then you're probably running about 70% of average peak modulation, and that's a nice loud sounding station, but not from the standpoint of distortion or anything like that. You just are loud, Roger.
Roger. Yeah, and well, that's good. And by the way, what is your QTH? You sounding really good here in Montgomery.
We're up around Louisville. We're just on the other side of the Ohio River, right at Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay, Roger. Well, you're about 10 over here, and modulation naturally sounds good. Sounds like you got a good handle on how to set your microphone to sound top, bottom, and it really sounds good. So, and I'm one of those who really does appreciate a good sounding radio, and I certainly want mine to be as good as it can be. I'll take what you said to heart. We'll take we'll read off it a little bit and see if I can get a little bit better understanding. I am new to this. I've only been doing this about a year and a half, and this. So I'm hoping this amplifier is doing the trick right now. And listen, I know there's other people wanting to talk to you, so I'll get out of the way here, let somebody come on in. But enjoyed it very much. KN4, RAF, back to you.
Roger, Ralph. I don't think you got to do much, man. Your dynamic range was right there at 3 dB, so... the thing is, some radios, particularly that model after the 7300, has a thing called drive, and that's a really like a trick pony there. That drive, man, you can bring that up and just take your audio right down to half a dB of dynamic range. It's just unbelievable. I think that's going to start to be incorporated in more radios, because it's just such an outstanding feature for those that really want to just get on down as far as the dynamic range. But your radio is just fine the way it is. Sounds great. A good dynamic range, about 3 dB, like I said. And if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, that'll take you to our QSO-VLOG page, and on that page you'll find one session that's titled My Group Aircheck 11/23/18. My Group Aircheck 11/23/18, which is today's date. Roger?
Roger, I definitely will check it out. Enjoyed it very much, and we'll let you get into talking to someone else. I'm sure they all appreciate the advice you're giving them. Let's see, KC9VKV, this is KN4RAF, and I'll be clear.
Roger, Ralph. 3 is underway, sir, and like I say, we'll get that posted within the next couple of days. I probably will have it sooner, but if, I'd rather have somebody, I'd rather tell somebody a couple of days and get it there as not. So, anyway, 3s, Ralph. Catch you later. It's KC9VKV.
November 3, Golf Kilo Victor.
November 3 station, come with the call sign again.
Okay, it's November 3, Golf Kilo Victor. His name is Bob, QTH Orfield, PA. And just wanted to check things out. I do have the ICOM 7610, and just see what your thoughts are.
Yeah, we just took a hit. Mother Nature just pulled a fast one there. Looked to be about a 15 or 20 dB hit. Come back again and let me hear you, sir.
Okay, KC9VKV. This is November 3, Golf Kilo Victor.
Yes, Bob, I got you now. Other station, stand by, please. Go ahead, Bob.
10 over 9 here, so back to you.
I'm sorry, we doubled. I was just asking the other stations to stand by. You repeat, Bob.
Okay, KC9VKV. Yeah, just wanted to see if you can do a copy now. You are running about S9 plus 10 here, so you have a nice signal.
Roger, and you also, and you've got the 7610?
Yes, and I wanted to, my ALC is running on the higher side. I am running a Electrovoice RE320 microphone, and certainly over the electret that comes with a radio, needed to push things up a little bit, but I just wanted to make sure I'm not overdriving this, or what your thoughts are. Back to you.
Oh, sounds good. What's your drive level right now?
Yeah, actually, where I have it, the drive level is 48. Now, maybe I should be doing more with the drive level. I have the comp level up at 8 on this thing and might gain at 72. Yeah, again, this microphone certainly takes more drive than the stock one with a radio. So any thoughts you may have? Back to you.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I wouldn't change a thing. I would not change a thing. You've got very good dynamic range, 3 dB or so. EQ sounds good. I would roll with it. How long have you had that radio?
I bought that in March of this year, about mid-March.
Roger. Yeah, it sounds great. I think you'll like it. You know how to get to the the YouTube page?
No, I've been taking notes on that, so I'll be able to do that.
Great. Yeah, I think you'll like it, sir. It's, that radio and the 7300 are both really outstanding radios.
No, I agree. In fact, I started out with the 7300, had that about a year, and I sold a Yaesu FTDX 5000 and then bought the 7610. So I've had the experience of that radio also. Back to you.
Roger. Well, I didn't think at the time that there could possibly be a better radio than the 7300, but I think, in fact, that 7610 is, maybe because I don't think that the 7300 has a drive control. Do you know?
No, the 7300 does not have the drive control, and so I think that it is a nice feature on this radio.
Yes, it just allows you the flexibility of making your power amplifier perform exactly as you want it to, Roger.
Okay, yeah, no, it seems to do a nice job, and I tried to listen to this, monitoring my own signal, but it's always a lot better when we have somebody with the kind of equipment and the ear you have to be the deciding factor here. So thank you very much for everything you're doing for all of us on the air.
Roger, what's your location again?
It's Orfield, Pennsylvania.
Oh gosh, we took another Mother Nature hit there. About a 25 dB hit. Try your location again.
Okay, yeah, location is right near Allentown, Pennsylvania, which is in northeast Pennsylvania.
I got you. And what kind of antenna?
Right now we're using the 130-foot end-fed. It's up only about 33 feet.
And your power out?
Power out is probably about 500 watts.
Doing a great job. I think you'll like what you hear on the YouTube. I'll say 3's to you, sir, and you have a real good day.
Great, thank you. KC9VKV and 3GKV.
Hotel station. This is KC9VKV.
Hey, Jim, Dave. Delta Sugar 4. Echo in South Carolina. Appreciate you doing this. Got an ICOM 7200.
Kilo, Charlie, Yankee, American.
American station, stand by. Dave, come back with your call sign again. HH, what's the rest in front?
Roger. Kilo, Romeo 4, Hotel, over.
Roger, and what's your location?
I'm in Columbia, South Carolina.
Oh, Roger that, sir. And just out of curiosity, what kind of power?
100 watts into a wire antenna, about 72 feet long, about 50 feet up, running 45-degree angle.
Roger, Roger. Well, that's you are exactly why I'm here now, because we were running our QSO-VLOG program at 10:30 in the morning on 40 meters, and 100-watt stations coming in like 300-400 miles away were coming in at maybe a dB or two above my noise level. So we're looking for a better situation, and I think we've found it, Roger.
Roger, yeah. Well, the antenna is temporary. It's all I can put up right now, so that's what I've got. And just wondered how the audio was sounding to you with this situation.
Roger. Well, it's Mike could use a little processing. Could you run about a 3 on your compressor?
Okay, it's up to a 3, and I have the mic gain on 16.
Okay, now look at your ALC, and you should be running mid-scale to 2/3 deflection on your ALC meter.
Okay, yeah, that's good. I'm peeking over a little bit at point.
You are outside of the ALC guidelines?
Roger, I'm going up to 20 several times.
Roger. Well, just stay within ALC max. Try not to exceed ALC max. I sometimes run there just right on the edge myself, but you know, all radios are different, and some radios fall apart if you push them up there. But this radio is just really beautiful. This is a modified Yaesu FT990. It's about 30 some odd years old, but we've tinkered around a little bit, and it's I think it's supposed to be a 2.4, but I think we're doing about 3 now, somewhere in that area. And the receiver's also been modified to exhibit a much flatter audio response in the bandpass. Roger.
Good, real good sound, Jim. Very good sound. I came down just a tad on the mic gain, and I don't know how that's helping, but you know, the mic here is a Heil, so it's supposed to give me a little better audio.
Oh, Roger, Roger. And you've got your windscreen in place?
I do, yes.
Very necessary thing, you know. It just takes all of the things that you don't want going out on the air from happening. I mean, just a good windscreen just is amazing. I have about 3. This one actually probably needs to be replaced. But I just haven't. A lot of my music stores up in this area have closed down, and music stores are the best place to get your windscreens outside of the internet. You know, I guess a lot of folks do the internet. I'm still trying to recuperate from the loss of my Radio Shacks. I dearly miss not having a Radio Shack to be able to run up and grab this or grab that or the other thing, you know. But time marches on, Roger.
Yeah, very right, Jim. Yeah, I have an electro voice that I use for music, singing with a band, and I was gonna run it through, you know, use that, but then I just decided to go ahead and go with the ICOM that was already set up and sent out. But this radio just has, you know, gain and compression. I have no EQ, so that's kind of why I wanted to get a report from you.
Oh, you do not have any EQ?
No EQ at all, no sir, just compression and gain control, that's it.
Roger, now that, how old is that radio?
It's not very old, I've only had it a few months. I was licensed way back in '93 and got out of radio around 2000. Sold my gear, gave some stuff away, so now I'm kind of an old time to get back in after many years.
Roger that, Roger that. And you have the owner's manual, the operator's manual, and nowhere in there they don't talk about EQ at all?
Well, I need to go back and look, but I know on the radio I've got compression and mic gain, and I don't believe I can mess with the EQ otherwise.
Roger, I would check. If you don't have the books, I would go to oh gosh. Anyway, I had a mental lapse here. Not YouTube, but Google. Google. How can I forget Google? Anything you want to know, Google knows. If you're curious about that, and you don't have the manual, you could go to Google and Google your model number, and it'll give you probably a PDF of owner's manual or whatever, and you could look. If that radio, you think it's older than 10 years?
Well, this particular radio is not, but it's been out, I think, at least 10 years. It's not a new model.
Roger. I'd look around and see if it does have EQ. If it does, my standard thing on EQ, I approach approach all radios the same way, with a sledgehammer and a Jim Bowie knife. But on the EQ, I approach it from the standpoint of mid-range is your reference point. Mid-range is going to be mid-range, and that is where you start from. So on EQ mid-range, you just leave it flat. No cut, no boost. Just leave mid-range flat. Go up to the top end EQ. Run it about half of its possibilities. If it's a 1 to 10, put it on a 5, and then the rest of the ball game is all at the bottom end on the low frequency EQ. And you can plus that, minus that, if you want to move towards a more QSO situation. You're probably going to be maybe boosting a tad, but not to the point of being muddy, but to the point of having content in the bottom end. On the other hand, you can take that bottom end and roll it back on the negative side, 3 dB or so, and then you have an attack dog as far as a microphone. But just because you're changing from a DX or a contest microphone to a QSO microphone, the whole thing is down in the bottom end. I would leave the top end alone. If you're running +3 on the top end, running flat in the mid-range, then I would make the bass do whatever I needed it to do. Roger?
Yeah, I got you. So what's your overall report at this point with how it sounds?
Well, if you're running a mid-range on your ALC and you're running a 3 on your compressor, it might be interesting if you came up a little bit on the compressor, because you're not really too fat on your audio. You've got a lot of swing in your audio, so your dynamic range is around 8 dB or so. You want to close that dynamic range to about 3 dB, and so you're going to have to compress that signal or limit that signal. So if you're at the mid-range, mid-scale on your ALC meter, that's the limiting aspect of it. So you can't really improve that much if you're mid-range. So about the only thing you can do is come on that compressor and maybe run it up to a 5 and see how much that reduces the dynamic range. And I don't know, Mother Nature may be playing games. We may have faded out by now. Dave, you still have a copy? This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, and the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG program. I'm not sure where Dave went, but maybe he'll be back. He could be in the bowels of his radio, upside down with his Jim Bowie knife, performing surgery on the compressor. I'm not sure, but anyway, Dave, you still there? Dave is gone, been stolen by gypsies at such a tender age. This is a KC9VKV, and this is the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG program. If you have a radio you want to check out, we are recording and we'll be posting this up on YouTube within the next couple of days. And you'll be going to YouTube and doing a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor. And then you'll be looking for a session entitled My Group Aircheck 11-23-18. My Group Aircheck 11-23-18. This is KC9VKV.
Kilo 0 Charlie
Alpha Delta 5 clearly.
Gosh, I'm sorry, there's about 4 there. Really, really loud ones. The loudest one come back.
Kilo 0 Charlie
Alpha Delta 5 Sierra Lima.
There's an Alpha Delta in there.
Alpha Delta 5 Sierra Lima.
Alpha Delta 5 Sierra Lima. Go ahead, this is KC9VKV.
Good afternoon, Jim. How you doing? My name here is Roy. I've talked to you before, and I noticed on your website there, or your YouTube, that you have a screen over your microphone and you talk real close to it. I'm just curious. I have a screen on my microphone right now, and I was wondering if you'd give me an A/B situation on the with the screen or without the screen. Over.
Sir, I wouldn't even engage in the A/B. With the windscreen will be much better. I mean, you have a real windscreen. It's not a wool sock or nothing, right?
Well, it's a glove. It's an old brown jersey glove. Over.
All right. Then I will entertain an A/B with an old brown glove. But if you had a modern, real windscreen, there would be no need to compare, because modern day foam windscreens are just so transparent as far as passing the frequency response in the top end. There's no attenuation at all, and the plosives and all of the stuff that it prevents getting into your microphone is just amazing. I would suggest, well, okay, let's do the A/B with the old glove.
Okay, this is Alpha Delta 5 Sierra Lima with A. And I'll say, Mary had a little lamb. Now I will switch. This is Alpha Delta 5 Sierra Lima, 85 itself. Mary had a little lamb. Over.
Roger. Yeah, you are suffering some top end loss with your glove. Let's see, what radio are you running?
Well, I'm running a Drake TR7.
Alrighty, and you don't have EQ on board on that radio, Roger?
No, it just depends on how far I get from the microphone and which way it turns it over.
Roger. Now, does it have an ALC reading on it? It doesn't have an ALC reading either, does it?
Yes, it's got the little green light up there, but I've had it situated so far away from me, I can't see it. But I don't know if it's blinking or not.
Roger, I got a car like that. The check engine light comes on, I take a Band-Aid and put over the check engine light. I feel so much better,
Yeah, I'm looking at my output RF-wise on an oscilloscope here, make sure I don't flat top, but other than that, it doesn't tell me how it sounds. Over.
Sounds good, and you sound better without the glove on the microphone. But I would, definitely go get one. Foam windscreen probably runs about maybe $8, and you probably could pick one up within the next hour or so at your local music store, or you could order from the internet, but you want definitely a nice foam windscreen that would fit your microphone. And then, you can work it up close or you can work it back off, but it just allows you to so much flexibility as far as, how you work your mic.
All right, Jim, I'm curious whether A or B was better, over.
Well, when you were running the Michael Jackson glove, you did suffer some top end loss, and since you don't have any EQ on that Drake radio, I would think that you would want all the top end that you could get. So I would run without the glove. I didn't hear any plosives or any transients when you had the glove off, so I would run without the glove. It improves your top end response, Roger.
Roger, yeah. Well, I appreciate you here, and I just want to let you know I've been listening to your station here, and from about I'm in Central Time Zone. It was from 3 o'clock to 3:30. You had a deep QSB fade off for about 30 minutes there, but your signal has come up great since you're in Eastern Time Zone since 4:30 to now. Between your time zone, between 4 and 4:30, the audio, the RF signal had a deep fade. So, other than that, you have fun, and I enjoy listening to you, and I hope everybody else has a nice weekend also. This is Alpha Delta 5 Sierra Lima. My name is Roy, and I'll check with you later, Jim. 85 is out.
Roger, Roy. Well, we are recording and be posting this up on YouTube in the next couple of days. So if you go to YouTube and do the call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, that will bring up our QSO-VLOG page, and you'll be looking for a session entitled My Group Aircheck 112318. My Group Aircheck 112318. And I think you'll like your audio. Roger?
Roger. 73.
73 is there. You have a good day, sir. This is KC9VKV. Anybody out there want to air check?
Alpha Bravo 9, November Alpha.
Alpha Bravo 9, come back with the rest of the call sign.
Yeah, Jim, it is Alpha Bravo 9, November Alpha, and we're your neighbor, pretty much, ham-wise anyway. We're down here, we're up here where State Street goes up the hill, right at 265 and 64, so we're very near you. And you're giving me 40 over, and I have the amplifier on, but you've provided me with the best way I know to hear what I sound like. So I have the amplifier on, but maybe I'm just too close to be running that much. Would you prefer I turn the amplifier off or leave it on?
No, leave it on. Sound good, sound beautiful, and let the other folks down the road hear you. Roger.
Okay, well, I figured you would be the perfect check because I know about where you're located. You're up on the other hill on the other side of the little valley, and that's about all I know. I listen to you quite frequently, though, and I've did a lot of work on this audio. I've been driving myself nuts for about a month, and I think I might have it about where I want it. I've been getting a lot of compliments on it. It is a Kenwood 590 SG Sugar Golf. And I just wanted to get your opinion on it.
Roger. Well, you've got your dynamic range down there to about 3 dB, which is ideal. Now, you do have some breathing, but hey, most humans do exercise that, and I'm sure I do too. So I don't care. I like your audio just the way it is. So I've got the Gorilla Tape, man. I've got the Gorilla Tape. I'll bring it over and seal those pots down myself.
Okay. Well, in my experience, when somebody's as close as me and you are, you may hear me breathing, but nobody else will. And sometimes I can hear you just a little bit, but I know nobody else out there in Radioland can hear you. So that's kind of where I put that at. You know, I know I'm bound to be throwing you a big signal, and when somebody's throwing me 40 over, you know, I'm not real surprised to hear a little breathing in the background. I am running it through a windsock and everything, so everybody tells me they don't hear anything when I dead key like that, and so I just thought you're so close, you'd be the perfect opportunity for me to check this thing out.
Roger, yeah, it's beautiful. You know, I did hear some stuff come up, but you never pause that long. You know, it's the compressor suck up within like at the end of 3 seconds. You know, it's fully expanded. So, but you never pause for 3 seconds. Not, yeah, I mean, you're geographically in the wrong place. Now, the further south you move, the speech rate kind of slows up a little bit, and you might be 3 seconds between words, but around here, you know, we're kind of moving along, and I think it's just beautiful. So I run with the attenuator on, so I'm dumping 20 dB right off the bat, so you're not about to overload me, Roger.
Okay, very good, Jim. I won't keep you very long. I appreciate what you do. I listen all the time. It's very interesting, and I've learned some things about audio too. And by the way, whatever it's worth, I'm running a Heil HM10 on this 590 SG, and it's got the 4 and 5 cartridge, and I'm running the 5 cartridge, the rag shoe cartridge, and I have found that it does quite well on DX2. And like you say, I can always go to preset on the equalizer, high boost 1 when I want a DX, and boy, it really punches through there then.
Roger, what's your name again?
The name is Jim, Alpha Bravo 9, November Alpha. We spoke before once or twice maybe, but it's been a while.
Yeah, Roger. Now, if I forget that name, I'm going to be in a world of problems. I mean, they'll be looking for me with a butterfly net. But anyway, yeah, if you go to YouTube and do the call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, that'll bring up our QSO-VLOG page, and you'll be looking for a session called My Group Aircheck 112318. My Group Aircheck 112318. Roger, and we'll post that in the next couple of days.
Okay, Jim, very good. I will let you go. I know there's many waiting, and thank you for the check and the audio I'll be able to listen to on YouTube. I look very forward to that. And you have a great day. 7-3, AB9NA.
Roger, Jim. 3's that away, sir. You have a pleasant afternoon, what's left of it, and a nice evening. 3's. This is KC9VKV and the QSO-VLOG program. If you've got a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. We are recording.
Kilo Zero, Charlie Yankee American.
Kilo Zero station, come back with a call sign.
Kilo Zero, Charlie Yankee American.
Kilo Zero, Charlie, and give me the rest, please.
Yes, sir, Jim. Kilo Zero, Charlie Yankee America. I'm down in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Roger, sir. And what's the name?
The name is Joe. Juliet Oscar Easy.
Roger, Joe. This is Jim, Juliet India Mike. We're up around Louisville. How's it going this afternoon?
It's going good. It's going good. I just wanted to know how this 7300 would sound up that direction. I'm running about a 102-foot doublet antenna with some ladder line, and just running 100 watts is all.
Roger, Joe. That's 7300. You have to go out of your way to make it sound bad. It's a great radio, and you should be very proud of that radio, Roger.
Yeah, I've had it just a few months. I've only been a ham since April, so I'm still kind of getting into it. But yeah, I've enjoyed it quite a bit. Made quite a few contacts with it, but anxious to see how it sounds on your end with your YouTube video.
Roger. What mic are you using?
I'm just using the hand mic.
Roger. How close are you working it?
It's probably 3 inches, 2 to 3 inches, I guess.
Yeah, I would run that at about 2 inches myself. And then look at your ALC. You should be a mid-scale to 2/3 deflection on your ALC reading, Roger.
Roger. Yes, it's sitting right at about 2/3.
That's excellent. And then if you just want to tighten that dynamic range down just a little bit more, you could go to about is that compressor 1 to 10?
Yes, it is. It's sitting at 6 right now.
Roger. Yeah, I was going to suggest that, but it's looking good. Just out of curiosity now, if you were to get closer to that mic, as you're looking at your ALC, tell me what happens there.
Okay, testing, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's somewhere between 2/3 and probably 50%.
2/3 and 50, well, halfway to 2/3, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, halfway. It's 2/3 to the halfway point.
That's exactly where you want to run, right, like that. And if you want to bring your mic up and back off mic, you could do that, or you could just stay where you are. Where you are is perfect, Roger.
Okay, great. Well, I appreciate the feedback, and I'm looking forward to hearing what it sounds like on your end with the YouTube video, and I know there's others out there waiting, so I'll get off of here, Jim. I really do appreciate it. KC9VKV, this is K0 Charlie Yankee America.
Roger, Joe, 3 Zetaway. And that radio, that 7300, just works the audio so nicely. It just handles the audio so nicely as far as a fat signal. So I think you'll like the sound. So I'm assuming that you know how to get there, down the yellow brick road, take a right, and 3s. We'll catch you later. It's KC9VKV.
Thank you, Jim. Yeah, I've been hearing your instructions for the last 15 or 20 minutes, so appreciate it. Kilo 0 Charlie Yankee America. We're done.
Roger, 3's underway, sir. This is KC9VKV, the QSO-VLOG program for Friday. If you have a radio you want to check out the audio, give me a shout. We are recording. There's a bunch right there together. Loudest one, take it.
Kilo 7, Whiskey Charlie Hotel.
Kilo 7 station, go.
Kilo 7, Whiskey Charlie Hotel, QSO.
Roger, Kilo 7. This is KC9VKV. What's the name there?
Name here is Carl, transmitting from Elgin, South Carolina, on a Yaesu 991 song.
Roger that. And just out of curiosity, how do you receive me?
I receive you 5-9, very clear, very clear.
Alrighty, and you're running at what, about 100 watts, you say?
95 watts, my gain is 35.
Roger, and again, looking at your ALC, are you mid-scale to 2/3 on your ALC at that audio level?
About 2/3, yes, sir.
Roger, that's where you want to be. Like I say, I've got this VU meter that I'm watching the output of my my receiver, or your signal, and I'm also seeing it on my audio. So I do, it forces you to think about it, and the thing about it is the more you think about what you're doing audio-wise, probably the better sounding station you will have. And I'm talking from the standpoint of the way you use the microphone. If you work it from the standpoint of turning away from the microphone, pulling off the microphone, looking at this or looking at that, your audio suffers because those signals losses are you know, important because they're words, you know. So that's the one thing I like about tight miking, is that your proximity to microphone is always the same, and so that way you don't have too many lost words. Roger?
Roger, Roger. I do appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Roger, and I spent a long time, 50 years of working on microphones, so, you know, it does take a little concentration. And at that same time, I spent 50 years looking at pretty much a VU meter, you know. So, you know, we go back a long ways. But the more the more you work the microphone, particularly like a closer mic, and that would really involve getting like a foam windscreen. That will solve any of the plosives or transients that you might have, keeps those out of your audio, and doesn't hinder the top end. A good, you know, a real foam windscreen doesn't, and it just allows you to be right there and work the microphone absolutely on axis. That's the other thing. A microphone is designed to pick up sounds on axis, and some microphones are deliberately designed to limit signals or sounds coming in off axis. It's like cordioid patterns, things like that, which probably most microphones for our use are more you know, straightforward than that. So if we're running a windscreen and we're a couple of inches off that mic, for all practical purposes, we are on axis with that microphone, and it will be delivering the maximum possibilities as far as intelligibility, articulation, and stuff like that. Roger? Roger, Carl. I think we've had a condition reversal from Mother Nature. You were down towards my noise level that last transmission, so let me just say 3 is that way, and your earlier transmissions were a lot hotter, and yeah, I think you can get a real good idea of your audio from those. So if you go to YouTube and do the call letter search Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, that'll take you to the QSO-VLOG page, and on that page you're looking for a segment called My Group Aircheck, dated 11/23/18. My Group Aircheck, 11/23/18. So with that, Carl, I'll say 3's to you, sir, and now you have a good evening.
Comment.
Go ahead, comment.
Yeah, how's this microphone sound here?
Sounds pretty good. Who we got there?
This is K8VIN, portable in Michigan, using an IC7300 with a stock mic, and I have the mic turned to the side. I'm not talking straight directly into it, and I always get better comments about my audio when I don't directly face it. I just wondered how the audio sounded to you on this.
Oh, I like it. I like it. You're working across it as opposed to into it, but on top, close to it.
Yes, it's actually, I hold it on the side of my mouth, and I talk directly across the microphone, not into it, facing the microphone, and it seems to, I don't have problems with that pee popping and things of that nature by doing it that way, and I get quite a bit of good audio reports with it. I did have a gentleman tell me today that I had the mic gain up too loud. Now, they even improved this microphone on this 7300 ICOM has from their other microphones that used to come stock with their radios. This IC7300 microphone seems to be custom tailored to this radio and has quite good EQing and such. Anyways, what's your call sign?
Call here is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, and you know, if you ran a windscreen, you could work directly into it. Would not have any plosives or you know, unusual sounds in your audio. But to working at a cross mic works also and you're not losing any off-axis top end. It's all there. Beautiful. I love that radio, and they did go out of their way to include a microphone that would do the radio justice. I mean, as far as a lot of radios you get new, you have to go through all this setup. 7300, you plug it in, you plug the mic in, you're ready to go. That's a beautiful sounding radio.
Yes, it is. That was one of the reasons it actually caused me to choose this one over the Yaesu 991 I was going to purchase. But I had been told that this thing, right out of the box, it'll sound like $1 million. So, and I'm happy with it. I just got it not too long ago, and I got a good deal on it. And it's a really nice little radio. I had been using a Yaesu 817 with a little power amp, and it's an analog radio. This radio is so much better, I can even use it portable. Well, I am using it portable right now because I live in Florida, and I'm up in Michigan visiting my sister right now, and for the holiday, and I've got my IC7300 and a MFJ 17-foot telescopic whip antenna with a Wolf River Silver Bullet loading coil, and it's all clamped to a speaker stand out in the backyard, and I've got 4 radios on it, and I've been getting great signal reports as far as that goes too. So it's working out pretty good. It's a nice little portable radio. It's not too big, and you can use it as a shack radio if you'd like to also. Anyways, thanks for that radio check. And where are you at, by the way? I forgot to ask that.
Roger, sir. We're down around Louisville. We're just across the Ohio River from Louisville in Indiana. I can see downtown Louisville from here. It's about 3 miles away. And like I say, that radio is just a beautiful radio, and you made a wise choice, sir. And I'm glad that you're taking it on vacation. And so I'm assuming that that antenna you've got a vertical radiator. Is that a Roger?
Yeah, that's a Roger. It's antenna. The model number is MFJ 1979, and it actually folds up to about 2 feet. When it's collapsed, and then it pulls out to 17 feet long, and then it's got I bought a Wolf River loading coil that you slide a little sleeve up and down over the coil so you can load it up. It'll actually tune up 80 meters on this thing, believe it or not. But it works well on 40 meters, and with the tune radios I have, and I've got it mounted to an 8-foot speaker stand made out of aluminum, and I've got the radios, and that stand's about 8 foot tall, and the radios are running down to the ground and mounted to
Gosh, you did fade down there towards the end. I'm not sure if you were still in there or not. Did fade all the way out, but anyway, a great signal, and except for the last few seconds there. And if you want to hear your audio, we are recording, and we will be posting this in the next couple of days. So if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to our QSO-VLOG page, and on that page look for the title of my group Aircheck 112318. My group Aircheck 112318. Roger, Roger. And nothing heard. I'm assuming that Mother Nature has pulled the plug on us, so we'll say 3's up that way, and you have a good afternoon. And we're about 2 minutes past 5 o'clock. We turned into a pumpkin, but we'll do one more if anybody's got a quick air check. This is KC9VKV. Station, call again.
And you have a very good sounding station and actually very good advice.
I didn't get the call sign there, sir, on the very good advice. Come back with the call sign.
Kilowatt 0, no transistors for Kilowatt 0 November Tango if you want to use that.
Roger that, Kilowatt 0. I'm still not sure what the call sign is. Give me phonetics on it one more time. The conditions are kind of in and out. Phonetics one more time on the call sign.
November Tango. November Tango.
Kilowatt 0 November Tango, is that a Roger?
Correct.
Whoa, we hit the jackpot. It's kind of like bingo. How you doing this afternoon?
Well, we survived Thanksgiving. Got the dishes washed and taking a little bit of time for Hammy Radio. And we're not doing the Black Friday thing because the stuff I want really isn't on sale on Black Friday. We do have a range and a couch we need to buy for the new house, but another big screen TV, February, the nice ones are going to get cheaper because the new models are out. And so we're just going around here on the Hammy Radio for a little bit. You found it consistently very strong all afternoon, although it's fading a little bit now. But you got quite a good sounding station.
Well, thank you so much, sir. Appreciate that. Just curious, what's your location again?
I'm in Joplin, Missouri, which is in the southeast corner of the state. We're 5 miles from Kansas, 5 miles from Oklahoma, and about 20 miles from Arkansas.
Roger that. Well, I was in Kansas last Friday. Matter of fact, I was in Kansas for the first time. I'd never been that far before. That's not. I wonder about that line, but I started to feel like Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. Roger.
Well, thank God it ain't tornado time. The QTH I'm at, it got blown away in 2011. We was lucky to get out with our lives, let's put it that way. But we rebuilt. It's all good.
Roger, I'm sorry to hear your loss, sir. You know, the most important thing, though, made it through. You know, that's our lives. And as long as we have our lives, we can rebuild. You know, it takes a little while, but you know, the important thing is our lives, right?
Correct. Family got through. We lived for 3 months at my radio shop across the town. But anyway, it's all good. We go back. It's all fine. I think the antenna might be a little bit better than the last one I had, but the amplifier is not the same. Because I was running a 3.6 5007 for an output tube. Now I'm down to a lowly pair of 3500s. I'm only taking about 500-600 watts.
Well, it's well-placed wattage. It's definitely, you know, I'm looking at your signal, or your audio, actually, and I'm getting about 7 or 8 dB above my noise level. So that's the only signal I can get to my RF level incoming is, you know, be just below compression, AGC compression. So I have a nice input RF signal level that doesn't pump or hump or anything there. You know, it just it gives me the best signal to noise ratio, but it also limits my ability to say, hey, you're 10 over S9. I just say you're 8 over my noise level. How about that?
That is the best way to report it. And I'm just curious what mic you're running, because it has excellent articulation without too much guessing.
This is a homebrew condenser mic with my invention of called a CRISPR. This is a little device that is an acoustic modifier to the input that tends to increase the articulation, and that's the better somebody can understand what you're saying. That is the name of the game when you're talking to somebody on the radio, is that they can hear it and understand what you're saying, and the better articulation that you can get, the better off you are. So it runs from the homebrew condenser microphone into an ART preamp, running a 12AX7 tube for warmth, and then from that through a third octave equalizer into the radio. This is about a 40-year-old radio or 30-year-old radio. It's a Yaesu FT990. It's been pretty well modified in the transmit and the receive areas. That radio normally is a 2.4. We're out to about a 3. And on the receive, we've done quite a bit of modification to ensure it's a lot flatter in the bandpass than stock. Roger?
Oh, yeah, I know what an FT990 is. And it was a great, great radio with possibilities if you're willing to, experiment on things like that. But it sounds great. But that might have super articulation, and without getting essy or anything, and it's got that bottom end. Some people can listen. Okay, I can drop bottom end down way, way low, but that's probably down to 20 or 30, but nobody's even listening down there. That might sound quite well. And I use an ART preamp with a couple of mics. Then I luckily landed a vacuum tube preamp condenser mic from a recording studio in there, and they had 2 of them, and they used a weird-ass tube where the pins didn't come out the bottom. They were wires, and actually...
Sir, please don't tune up on this frequency. It's active.
Proximity fuses for, the things you shoot out from a submarine. Anyway, I happen to have some of the tubes, and he happened to have a couple of mics, so we traded. I fixed his, I keep the spare, and we both win. But the tornado took it all away. But oh well, we'll be there.
Well, the tornado took the physical aspects of it away, but you mentally know exactly what it is and how to do it, so it's just doing it, I mean, you know what to do. It's just doing it. Roger?
Boy, we're lucky now. The band has come back. You're definitely 10 dB over noise now.
Roger. And I liked it when you were, down on the bottom end. I really liked that. How many was that?
Okay, that, on the transceiver, that's down to 0. But I'm low cutting at about 30 hertz. And I've got a very low voice, and there's basically no bass boost going on. I just got a deep low voice.
Right, it's beautiful. I would run it just like that myself. The thing is, if you accentuate the bottom end and you keep EQ in the bottom end, eventually you'll run into some mud. So you're well above mud with that EQ on the bottom end. I'd leave it there.
Yeah, but only 1 out of 100 amateur radio operators, their receiver goes even anywhere near that low. So it's really wasted energy. Most of them are listening. And they think that's where most of them things work far away. Concentrate your energy there. Otherwise, people that can hear, well, it's okay to them.
Roger, Roger. But you know, the thing is, it's still within the flat EQ range. It's not like it's you know, got a real hump there, so it's not like it's you know, running kilowatts of power to transmit that hump, because there is no hump. It's just an extenuation of the bottom end. And I would say, you know, sideband, you're not actually, it's not like AM where it's taking actual power, you know. It's you know, it's for receivers that don't receive it, you know, so be it for them. But, you know, I think folks have an obligation to be all that they can be, Roger.
Okay, my EQ is like flat from 80 hertz down. I pull the load actually down, starting at 100, 125, and a little bit of 160. Then it's totally flat out to where the 850 kind of runs on the top end. So I start a bit at like 2.5K out to like 3.1, and well, nature of the radio is you got to really work hard to get the 4, but I'm happy with 3K on the top end. Lots of people don't even listen that high.
Oh, Roger, yeah, I think 3 is fine. I wouldn't want to go any higher than that, because then you start getting people road rage. So I'll take 3 and be happy with it. You know, it gives you enough to put some articulation in there, you know, and that's all you need, just so they can hear what you're saying. I mean, you know, I guess some folks could cut it off at 2 or 1, and everybody would say, "What's he talking about? What's he saying? I can hear him, but I don't understand him." You know, and so with a 3 or thereabouts, that gives you plenty of room for sibilance and articulation. Roger.
Absolutely correct. I'm curious, what antenna are you using?
I'm sorry, try again.
Yeah, what antenna are you using?
This is an inverted V. About the apex where it's fed from is about 35 feet. And we have developed a tuning technique. We don't use a ballon. We do use a choke. But the tuning range is... I don't know. Hang on just a minute. I have something going off here that... I don't know. Anyway, the tuning procedure is adjusting the SWR on the negative side and bring it back on frequency on the high side, back and forth. And so I'm running 3 inverted V's that are running 1.01 to 1, Roger. Starting to lose you there. Yeah, we have 3 inverted V's and 1 kind of just a normal, or 2 normal dipoles. So we've got five antennas for HF pretty much, except we have 3 additional for 10 meters. I have a full wave loop, 36-foot full wave loop, 10 foot on the horizontal, 8 foot on the vertical, with a rotor. And I can orient it's a, you know, like I said, it's a vertical loop, and I can rotate that for max smoke. And then I have a 5/8 vertical, and that's about like at 15 feet. And then I have a quarter wave up the tower about 35 feet. So I spent a couple of years on 10 meters, so I run those on a selector switch, and actually all the antennas on a selector switch, and I can run through the antennas, particularly like on the 10-meter antennas, and check 3 antennas in about a second, half a second, somewhere in there.
Yeah, when I had my old station, yeah, I would just select the mix, which antennas heard the best, probably the greatest probability of getting in. Yours is doing just fine. I'm running a weirdo, a double-length G5RV with the balance line coming all the way into the shack. I had to waste about 10 foot of balance line going up the tower and back down again and bringing it in. But it's cut for 1.8, but it's actually working pretty well, and the high point is about 45 feet, and the low point is about 4 feet up off the ground.
Roger that, roger that. Well, you know, some folks take that that antenna, and instead of running all that stuff underneath each other, they spread it out, and that way you can modify one band of the antenna and not have any effect whatsoever on the other bands. When they're underneath each other, you run into the possibility of doing a little work on one will make the other slightly different. But when you expand them around, and so they're running within themselves, you know, you're just working on that one antenna. Roger.
Hold on, I pulled the headphones, so I had to kick the monitor off. What you described, I have found absolutely correct. I've tried the multi-band dipoles, each resonant halfway, fed from a single feed point, and going in basically the same line as each other, but they always coupled, and it was a tuning nightmare. And I found if you just spread each of them a little way to the side, they actually tune individually.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, and you know, then you have more flavor in your received signal too, you know, because it's not all east and west or north and south. However, you might have them oriented. You have different slices of life there. Well, it's past our time. Usually we run between 3:30 and 5 on our QSO-VLOG program. What's the name there?
Bob Baker, Ocean Baker, and yours?
Jim, Juliet, India, Mike.
Well, you were going to sign, I would say, at least 15, 20 minutes ago. I'm glad we got to jaw with each other. You got a fine sounding signal and good advice.
Roger, Bob, well, you also, your audio is just perfection. I wish we had a little bit more signal strength to hear it, but I've got a little sideband, little adjacent channel QRM, but nothing to interfere with, just kind of annoying. But anyway, so I'm sure he's getting more blow by than I am, so power to him. But I'm going to jump out of here, and if you get a chance, don't be a stranger. We do this QSO-VLOG every Friday afternoon between 3:30 and 5 Eastern on this frequency, 7189. So if you get a chance, drop back in. You know, we'd love to have you. And like I said, we have been recording, so we will be posting this. So if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to the QSO-VLOG page, and on that page you'll find one session entitled My Group Aircheck, date 11/23/18. My Group Aircheck, 11/23/18, and you'll be towards the end of that, Roger.
Got you there, Jim. I might just check it out. See what I sound like. Anyway, it's been very pleasant, intriguing, talking to somebody that their elevator goes to the top. 73 from K0MP.
Roger, Bob. 3Z sir. Have a pleasant afternoon, what's left of it, and a good evening. We'll catch you later. And this is KC9VKV. We're wrapping up on our QSO-VLOG program for the date. This program, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, we'll have it posted within the next couple of days, and you'll look for a session called My Group Aircheck. My Group Aircheck, and dated 11/23/18. 11/23/18. So 3's all. We'll catch you later. This is KC9VKV. We'll be clear.